my life developed with all the problems, with all the tragedies, with all the crosses we all have to bear, I think I don't regret. People have given me pleasure in my life, and I think through my sporting career I've given pleasure to a lot of other people. I think it's very, very satisfying.
A sus 87 años conserva una memoria privilegiada y un físico afortunado, muestra del extraordinario guardameta que fue. Desde hace 20 vive en Almenara, un pueblo de la costa castellonense. Allí ha encontrado lo que buscaba, un clima ideal, pero sobre todo paz y tranquilidad, algo de lo que careció en su vida. Esta es la sinuosa historia de Bert Trautmann, el soldado alemán que triunfó en Inglaterra. Nació en Bremen en 1923, 5 años después del final de la Primera Guerra Mundial, una época dura de graves dificultades económicas y donde comenzaba a emerger una ominosa figura, la de Adolf Hitler.
Things went very bad in Germany. I think we had 7 million people without a job, and we had inflation, and the situation in the country was pretty bad. So of course, you know, Hitler came on the scene, the political party, when I was a young boy of 8, 9, 10 years of age. Well, actually they expected a brand new life. The promises the Hitler party or Hitler himself made were decent living conditions, the work, and a totally different life. If you are a married person, a family of man, wife and 2 children, and you had very, very little to eat, they went hungry. I myself, I lived from the street cars, you know, from the communal feeding, because my father didn't have anything to work for, we had no money, and for me it was an adventure, because at 10 years of age you don't have a mind of your own, not political, nothing. So for me and for a lot of other boys, it was an adventure to join the Hitler Youth at 10 years of age.
Septiembre de 1939. Alemania invade Polonia, una acción que provoca el estallido de la Segunda Guerra Mundial. El joven Trautmann, de 17 años, se alista como voluntario al ejército. Suspendió el examen para intérprete de Morse y optó por hacerse paracaidista. El frente ruso fue su zona de acción.
I think it is wrong to think you volunteer to kill people. You want to defend your fatherland or your motherland or whatever you like to call it, your own country. And to defend, not to say to yourself, I'm going to kill a certain nationality. No. Did you shoot somebody? When you either attack or you defend, it doesn't matter. You're there with a rifle or with a machine gun or whatever, and you only see on the horizon like shadows, like figures running, and you defend yourself. Because if you don't defend yourself, you'll be shot dead. In a way, I'm asking myself many times, why am I still alive? 20 million dead people in the war, in Russia alone. I suppose I have been a very, very lucky man. You see the first real blood, badly wounded people losing limbs, losing heads, losing legs, and so on. And you're asking yourself, why did I volunteer?
Trautmann ascendió a sargento y ganó 5 medallas por sus acciones en el frente, incluyendo la Cruz de Hierro. 5 semanas antes de que terminara la guerra, fue capturado por el ejército aliado. Era la tercera vez que lo apresaban. Las otras 2 consiguió huir, pero aquella vez sintió como una especie de liberación.
The feeling is I can't be killed anymore. I'm a prisoner of war and nothing can happen to me anymore. And then I was taken to Camp 50, which is between Liverpool and Manchester. Those who were at the, what we call the SS, or the paratrooper, or submariners, we were classed automatically Nazis. And in the camp itself, we had we called him a mad, a mad Scottish major. He started to form a football team. We started playing against English amateur teams.
Después de pasar 3 años en el campo de prisioneros, fue liberado. Trautmann rechazó una oferta de repatriación, pero la culpa de quedarse en Inglaterra fue otra.
I'm not ashamed of it. There were different times, and I had never been with a woman until I was 23 years of age. That, of course, was a big factor of staying. The girls, femininity.
Y en 1948 fue fichado por un equipo regional.
Somebody came from, when I was a POW, I played football against him. And he came to me and said, "Are you still playing football?" I said, "No." He said, "Come on, go with me to St. Helens Town and have a trial." And I started playing in 1948 until September 1949.
Fecha en la que con 26 años llega al City para sustituir al legendario Franz Swift. Su contratación desató una gigantesca ola de protestas para evitar su fichaje. Los aficionados amenazaban con boicotear al club. No querían que un paracaidista de la Luftwaffe, la aviación alemana que bombardeó Inglaterra, formase parte del equipo. Las heridas estaban muy recientes. El conflicto había finalizado hace tan solo 4 años, pero la vida le había proporcionado suficientes experiencias para superar la presión.
Apparently, there were 20, 30 or 40,000 people going onto the streets with banners and saying, "If you sign this German, we are going to boycott your club." And we must not forget, Manchester's got a very, very large Jewish community. And we know what happened to the Jewish people during the war, the way they were treated and by the Germans. And I could understand that in a way, yes. But then there was the Rabbi of Manchester, Mr. Altman, who, through the media, who said, "Don't be stupid. How can you blame one individual for what happened in the war? So let him show us if he is a good sportsman, enjoy him, but don't blame him." This probably followed me right the 15 years while I was still there. The odd one, stupid person, not very well educated person, still called me Nazi after 15 years.
La carrera de Trautmann en Main Road se prolongó durante 15 años, algo inimaginable al principio. Su cima deportiva la alcanzó en 1956. Ganó la FA Cup ante el Birmingham, una final que ha ido mitificándose con el paso de los años. El City iba ganando 3-1 y apenas quedaban 17 minutos para el final del encuentro cuando sucedió esto.
I cut out the center and Peter Murphy was trying to score, and we met, and I got his thigh right in here. This is about 15 or 17 minutes, and of course I collapsed, lost consciousness, but then the sponge, the water sponge again came, and I saw later on television, I saved 3 or 4 more balls. I went down again 3 or 4 times, but I never saw anything. I've carried on subconsciously. It's like playing in fog. I didn't see any figures, no balls, no nothing. You see, I didn't know anything. I just played. Painful, yes, but not very painful. But I couldn't move my, you know, I was like that. I didn't move my head.
En aquella época no existían los cambios y tuvo que aguantar en el campo lo que quedaba de partido.
The game was on a Saturday. I went into hospital in London, South Kensington, on Sunday morning, and they said they couldn't detect any break whatsoever. On Wednesday morning, when the team left for Germany, I went to see them at the airport. I was driving a car like that, you know, which was stupid. And a friend of my father-in-law came from the Manchester Royal Infirmary, which is a hospital, and he said, the doctors complain why I have not been to see them. I had 6 x-rays, and then the surgeon, Mr. Griffiths, came, put his arm around me, and he said, come on, Bert, you have got a broken neck. And of course I was surprised. It's the second survival of the vertebrae, you know the vertebrae? And the second one was broken diagonally, that way. And through the impact, you know, of the thigh in here, the third one pushed itself under the second. And if that wouldn't have happened, I would have been dead. Then I was taken into a room, and I was lying on wood, not glass, wood. No mattress, no nothing. They drilled holes in my skull. You can still feel them today. If you feel today, you can still hear. And they put what they call calipuses, which is a U-shaped, in my skull. And then I was lying 3 weeks on boards, on wooden boards. I was fed artificially.
Tardó 7 meses en recuperarse y prolongó su carrera deportiva hasta 1964, año en que recibió un homenaje del fútbol inglés. Años más tarde, en 2004, recibió en Berlín la Orden del Imperio Británico por su contribución al entendimiento entre Alemania e Inglaterra en los años posteriores a la guerra. Y hace escasas fechas recibió el calor de los aficionados del City.
My daughter, she was there, and she rang me the day after, and she said to me, "Hello, Dad, do you realize there are 60,000 people? They're clapping and admiring you, and they love you. After 60 years, she said, I wanted to shout, that is my father. I was standing on the ground, that is my father. So I said to her on the phone, I said, why didn't you? She said, I did. That I have been a very, very lucky person. First is surviving 5 years of war. I'm very happy about it. And you don't need a monument. You don't need to be an international to be remembered as a good person or as a great player. I don't think you need that, and I don't need it.